this is Tony from her Homestead Skills, and welcome. Today's video is about how I have decided to store all-purpose flour long-term. Okay, let's go. Okay, so Mark came home yesterday and told me I should go out and buy some flour because with the Russia-Ukraine issue, and both Russia and Ukraine happen to be probably exporters of the great percentage, I've heard 25 and up to as much as 34% of the world's flour that they export. Canada and the US both grow a lot of flour too, so I don't really believe that we're going to have a shortage here, but I do believe that we're going to have a severe increase in prices. So I explained to Mark that I had just recently bought a 10 keg bag, which is 22 pounds, and flour does not keep for longer than a year. As a matter of fact, even this bag has an expiry date of February 2023. Anyway, I did go out and pick up this bag because I did some research and I found that you can freeze flour and it'll keep for an extra year doing that. So altogether I have about 65 pounds of flour because I did have a little extra as well. So I have at least 65. I may even have as much as 70 pounds of flour in the house. But at this point what I'm going to do is what I did last night with the 22 pounds that I had. I put it into Ziploc bags, and then I put the whole Ziploc bagged amount into a vacuum seal bag as well. And it does not, when you use the vacuum or the Ziploc bags first, you don't get all the air out because you're not getting the air out of this bag. But it gives it extra protection. And I don't really want them to go rock hard anyway, so that I can pack them in the freezer. So I have maybe 7 bags left here. I'm going to pack as many as I could. It took 5 bags. I had a 12 package box, and so I'll pack as much of this as I can, and then the rest I will probably not freeze, but perhaps I will go out and buy more bags, perhaps I will not. Maybe I'll just put it in mason jars and keep it for immediate use. So, okay, so I've got the biggest scoop that I've got available, and I'm just going to start filling all of these bags as much as I can first. And I've put this bag of flour at a lower height so that I'm not reaching up into it, but rather reaching down. Now this is a bag of all-purpose flour. I felt that it would probably be wiser to buy this bag and this type of flour because that's what I use most. Okay, that's the first one, and we'll just continue along here. And I was really glad to hear that I could freeze this and have it last a year longer because flour will go rancid. I have heard of people oven canning flour, but my concern there is that if heat causes it to go rancid, why would I want to oven can it? Okay, so seems to me that freezing was the best option, and I really don't want to put this whole bag in the freezer, so I'm deliberately portioning it out so that I can pull out one bag at a time here. I suspect that we're going to see a lot of price increases and a lot of shortages. I found that just every time I go shopping, things cost 50 cents more, $1 more. my 10% cream went from $1.85 at Costco year in, year out to $2.05, and now it's up to $2.45. So, but definitely at other stores it cost anywhere from $3 to $4 for a container of 10% cream. So I still like to go to Costco to buy it whenever I can. And flour is the same. It definitely is cheaper to buy it at Costco in bulk. So that's what I did today. So I've got 4 bags. I'm going to get a good majority of this into these bags, which is good. But I don't have to get it all in there. I have had flour go rancid on me, so I know what that's like. It just has a bit of an off smell, and I really don't want to buy a ton of flour and have it go bad. So, I'm really pleased that my research netted out that I could freeze it and salvage it for a little longer. 2 more bags. The rest, I guess, I can put into mason jars rather than leave it in its original bag. One more bag, and then I go through process number 2, which is to seal and vacuum seal all of these. I think I filled these up a little bit more than I did the first 5 that I put away, so I've got a fair amount of this 44 pounds into these bags already. Okay. Definitely, that'll probably take 3 or 4 mason jars. Okay. Okay, now I'm carefully ziplocking each bag. And I'm going to try to take some of the air out. And of course, I really don't trust these not to split open, so that's also part of the reason that I would put them in the vacuum seal bags as well. Not only that, even though they are freezer bags, you're putting things on top of them, and you could easily punch a hole in one of these bags. Oh, I also picked up another thing of yeast. That's going to be plenty of yeast in. Yes, I can make sourdough bread without yeast, but I don't always want to make sourdough, so traditional bread is a little bit easier to make. And I am so glad I did the research on this, because I've always wanted to have more than just one 20-pound bag of flour in the house, but you also don't want it to go bad on you either. Okay. And I'm also going to put the best before date on the vacuum seal bag, the one that's found on the original bag, but we know it's good for a year beyond that at the very least, if it's frozen. So yes, I believe that there won't necessarily be a shortage of flour, but the prices are probably going to be going up as soon as they realize, and of course they already do, otherwise Mark would not have come home and told me to buy some flour. It's unusual for him to get involved in my prepping, and if anything else, he tells me not to fill the freezer up so much because it's chock full and he can't find anything. But better that way than to not have anything. Okay. Now I believe I'm going to need a fresh vacuum seal bag. So I'm going to get these out of the way for the time being. Okay, I've got my first bag in. And I may be able to cut these bags just a little bit shorter than what I have. So the first one's always a test. Now, the reason that I don't just put the flour directly into vacuum seal bags is because I understand they will destroy your vacuum sealer. The small particles of the flour just get into the mechanism and it stops it from working. So you really should not just put a bag of flour on its own, and that's why I put it in the Ziploc bag first. And yes, I can cut this just a tad shorter, save as much bag as possible. So there's number one, and I've got 6 more to go. And I believe that one was 1, 2, and 3, so we're going to cut this at 2.5, and hopefully I don't short myself doing this. And actually I could write the date on this bag rather than the freezer bag, so I'm going to go get a marker right now. Okay, so my best before date on the original bag was February 23. And we know that it'll go beyond that. Okay, bag number 2. And let's hope that I haven't made this one too short. It could be a little tight. As long as you don't have a bent corner, it seals right away. So even if my ziplock opens up, it's well protected within the vacuum seal bag. Moving along nicely now. And yes, it would be nice to get all the air out, but we're getting as much out of there as possible anyway. So that's 3 down. Okay, and we'll continue along until we have all 7 of these bags done. Okay, there I have 7 bags plus another 5 that I have in the freezer, so I've got a dozen bags of flour ready to be frozen, and a package of dry yeast, which I believe I can just put in the cupboard. I'll double check on that to see if it is okay, but it is in foil wrap and vacuum sealed, so it's pretty solid block. I expect that that's just fine putting it in the cupboard the way it is. I hope you all go out and get a little bit of extra flour. I don't want to pay an exorbitant amount of money for a loaf of bread. As a matter of fact, I did buy 1 loaf of bread in the last little while. I've been making my own all along, but the last loaf of bread I bought, I paid $4 for, and it's nowhere near the quality. Even Mark was saying he likes my bread better, so awesome. So I can at least make bread, and it's not the best flour for biscuits, but it works. And I could make pies, and I have plenty of flour to do all the things that I want to do. So, yes, I don't want to be paying $10 for 1 loaf of bread, or even $6 for 1 loaf of bread is just like way too much money. Anyway. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it interesting and of value, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.